I thought that he probably should have got suspension. I think there was something happened. I don't know if he meant to intentionally step on the young man's face, but there was something down there going on that he probably shouldn't have been doing. So I think it was just punishment.
Looking for the Vols to wind up probably in the Gator Bowl, from what a lot of people are saying on the radio and in the national news. Maybe playing, I don't know who they're going to play, but a lot of different projections. I've seen Minnesota, I've seen Indiana, I've seen a lot of different teams, but it looks like we're Auburn maybe getting to the Outback Bowl, and that'll push us to the Gator Bowl. So
That's
pack your bags.
Tax Slayer
Bowl.
Jacksonville. I got to go down there last time, or I guess Music City Bowl was our last bowl, but year before that we went to that, played Iowa. So
I was there.
Was you at that?
I was there. We probably sat beside each other.
Yeah.
It's a blowout. But if we're ready, we'll introduce our basketball players for tonight. Maybe. There they are. Rockwood Lady Tigers. Girls, if you would, just introduce yourself. Tell us your name, what year you are, position you play, and a little bit about your season and what you're hoping for.
My name is Kaylee Mackey. I play post, and I'm in 11th grade. I'm a junior. My goal, or what I hope for, is that we don't go like we have another year like last year. It was horrible. I did not like it. I just want to be better. That's my entire goal.
I'm Tiani Porter. I'm a senior, and I play wing. And I just hope for a good last season and not have another one like last year, like Mackie said. That's about it.
Yeah.
I'm Jordan Collett. I'm a wing, and I'm a senior, and I hope to win a lot of ball games and make senior year the best.
Awesome. And now we're joined by one of your assistant coaches, Coach Justin Gambrell. Gambrell, thanks for joining us tonight.
It's great to have us. We've really got a good group this year. I was glad to be able to bring them up here.
So, Gambrell, you're going into what season is you for an assistant coach?
This is year
Been here a while.
6. This is year 6 for me.
You're a Tiger.
I am a Tiger, no longer a Bobcat.
Tiger for life.
Not saying for life.
But talk a little bit to us about the season, and I know y'all are looking to improve a lot from last year, and you seem to be making some early strides to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year we had a really rough year, but I think for a lot of the kids it was good because it gave them a chance to grow up. They've from last year to this season has been night and day. They play a lot harder this year, and I think a lot of them have grown up and matured over the course of the season so far.
And Gambrell, you kind of have your hand in a little bit of everything. How is it different coaching girls basketball than it may be helping out with the boys or helping out football Friday nights or just with some of the other stuff that you do?
As far as coaching girls basketball, when I was at Oliver Springs, I would help with girls basketball there. So it was an easy transition for me. For me, it's the personalities are a lot better. We've got a likable group. Coach Brazil is, not only a great coach, but a personal friend of mine. So to be able to step in and help out any way I can, it's been great so far.
Now let's ask the girls a few more questions. Y'all picked up your first win of the season last week, and who was that against? And how was that as picking up your first win of the year?
Yes, I was proud that they won. So.
I'm pretty sure it was against Knox Christian, but I personally didn't get to play because I wasn't released yet, but I was very proud to see my team win and recover from last year.
Going 0-26 and then losing every game, and then you go and you win one. I cried like a baby. I don't know about anybody else, but I cried. I was like, well, that feels good.
Now y'all have already played Coalfield this week. You've got a big game against Harriman Friday. What are some of the things y'all are going to try to do in that game to pick up another win on the year? What are some things you have to work on and improve?
Definitely just making sure that we pay attention to who we have and work on getting defensive rebounds and putting up more shots, because we've already improved from last year and have way more points this year than we did last year combined. So hopefully just pick it up on the defensive side.
I think we got to look for our post more and box out, and play more aggressive.
We got to learn to have a left hand. Enough said.
What are you working on left hand?
We just have to go left side of the court because we always go right and it doesn't do anything. So
You
we
gotta
got to
switch it
let
up
it go
every now and
left.
then. All right, Coach Gambrell, as you can see, you got a lively group of girls, and they seem to enjoy themselves. What does Harriman bring to the table? What are some of the things y'all have seen on film, things you have to work on for Friday night?
Well, Dallas Davis at Harriman, he's a great coach. He's been around for a while. He knows the ins and outs of basketball. No, we're probably going to see a 2-3. They'll be aggressive in it. I know they've got some freshmen who have stepped in and played real well. They're always well coached, and so you have to make sure you don't make mistakes.
Coach Gambrell, what's some of the history of Rockwood Lady Tiger basketball? I know you're familiar with the program, so y'all have any state tournament appearances over the years?
Since I've been here, no, but we have had some very talented teams come through Rockwood. We've always had a history of, and Coach K, Paul Comical will speak to this, but we're defensive minded. We are not going to run and gun with you. We are going to we're going to try and stop you defensively, slow the game down, and that's always been our philosophy. Coach B preaches it, Coach Brazil, and so we try and push that on the girls to, don't be in a rush, just play the game. Don't try and hurry, just go at a pace that works for us.
And what's the district look like?
We've got two teams that were in state last year, Oneida and Midway. Midway lost a few players, but they're another team that's athletic, quick. Oneida, I think, lost one starter, maybe. They're going to be very talented. Coalfield last night that we saw, they played well. Haven't gotten a look at like your Oakdales, your Oliver Springs. Oliver Springs always, plays well. So it's a deep district. It has been for the past few years.
All right, girls, on the way out, you got to give me one nice thing about Gambrell and one nice thing about Gambrell.
It's taking them a while.
They're having to think.
This could be difficult.
I thought this would be easy. This was the softball club.
Well, he did buy us Chick-fil-A before here. But I would say, I don't know. I wasn't really close with him, but like now that I'm older, I've gotten a lot closer with him, and I cherish that friendship.
He's definitely one of the people that if you get down on yourself in a game or in practice, he'll be there after the game, no matter how miserable he looks. He will be there to pick you up and pat you on the back to reassure you that you will get better.
Even if he always acts negative and you need to get hyped up, he's always got your back.
Awesome. Well, ladies, thanks for joining us tonight. Good luck this season. Good luck Friday night against the Harriman Blue Devils. We're going to take our first break of the night. When we come back, we'll take your calls, 865-483-8112. This is the Locker Room Chat, and we'll be right back.
At Earl Duff Subaru, our reputation has been built on taking care of customers. We're Tennessee's only 8-time winner of the Subaru Love Promise Customer Commitment Award. This year, we also earned the Love Promise Community Commitment Award given for enhancing the areas we serve. This means you can be sure you'll have an excellent experience when you visit our store and be proud you're dealing with a company that gives back to local causes. Read our online reviews and come to Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman.
Take I-40 to exit 347 in Harriman or check all our specials at duffsubaru.com.
What rhymes with great? participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the diamond.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah!
Be great.
Participate!
Really? Again? Hey, if I had automotive style suspension like the new Simplicity, plus a free floating mower deck for the best cut, I'd be all that too.
Well.
And if I had the expertise and advice of his Simplicity dealer, maybe he'd look forward to hanging out with me.
You don't have a Simplicity dealership.
Good point. Huh.
Yeah.
SL Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is your gift destination. Shop the new plush selection for that special someone. We have Bath & Body Works popular fragrances and custom gift baskets too. Live and Let Live has a wide selection of gift and home decor for any occasion, from yard flags to selected jewelry, plus much more. We have Big Orange giftware always available year-round. And don't forget to enjoy a soda fountain treat while you shop. Live and Let Live Drugstore, Gift Shop, and Soda Fountain in downtown Rockwood.
For 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods has been a leader in supplying the highest quality equipment and apparel for sports teams throughout East Tennessee. Athletes, fans, and coaches alike rely on the knowledge and experience that only Reno's can provide. For the best in team sports, shop Reno Sporting Goods.
Roan Metals Group has been serving East Tennessee for decades. Locally owned and operated with convenient hours of operation. Roan Metals buys all types of scrap metal. Nothing's too big or too small. Still have that clunker sitting around? We've been buying them for years. Roan Metals Group are specialists in industrial scrap. We have what it takes to get any size job done. Roan Metals urges you to recycle responsibly. Scrap with only licensed dealers. A member of the TSRA and the ISRI. Roan Metals Group. Turn that scrap into cash.
Welcome back to the Locker Room Chat. Joined here by our other co-host, Matt Hagan. Matt, thanks for sneaking back in there during the break. Good to have you back.
It was good to be back this time. At least I wasn't called in to my other job.
That's true.
Matt, you're a pretty good cameraman.
That's what I do on an everyday basis.
That's
So
your
if
job,
I'm
and that's.
If I'm not helping out with an interview, I'm used to being behind the camera as it is.
So if Brad needs another hand, he knows who to call.
We can always call him Hagan.
Yeah, you guys were talking about the UT game earlier. I was actually on the sidelines for that game shooting highlights, so I got some good views of it. And UT played well, but there were several chances in that game that Vanderbilt could have come back and actually scared them. It was seemingly the first turnover of the game to start the game.
Yeah, we got off to a slow start. Garantano threw that early pick. I think it was scoreless after the first quarter.
Yeah, the first score was 3-0 on the first drive.
Randy went ahead. I was mad when they went ahead of us. I was like,
yeah, we were there. Man. We were there in the rain. I said, we're going to a football game. So we marched our way up there and went on Saturday in the pouring down rain. And right off the bat, we threw an interception. I said, oh my gosh, here we go again.
Yeah, I was down there. The ball walk was crazy this time. There were more people ready for that ball walk 2.5 hours before it happened than there were at any other game that I've been to in the last couple of years. Jawan Jennings was the best one to watch, though, during that ball walk. Not only interacting with fans, he was hugging fans, taking pictures with them. And after the game, I've got some video that we put on our WAT Instagram account of the celebrations. Our sports director got Jawan Jennings directing the band after the game. And I was up there getting the players jumping into the stands. And one player, I'm blanking on the number right now, came out, took his gloves off, and gave them to a young fan right in front of everyone.
Awesome.
So what did you think about the penalty SEC office sent down about Jennings having to sit out the first half? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I didn't get to see that one in person. I was on the other side of the field. I was on the Vanderbilt side the entire game. But after watching all those replays of it, I was not shocked that there was a penalty at all on that one. I was actually shocked it took them so long to determine what type of penalty. I was expecting it to be announced maybe Sunday or Monday, not Wednesday or Thursday for this.
What do you think, Chase? You think you should have got anything?
No. I'll sheep it up. I don't think it was. I think if he did, he ought to have been suspended for the whole game. You know, if you stepped on a guy's helmet, you should be suspended for the entire game. all or nothing.
It was hard to tell if it
Yeah.
was intentional.
That may have been why they only did it for a half, is they couldn't tell if it was intentional or not, but it still was the act.
Yeah.
And that's what he was at fault for. And Philip Fulmer released a statement that they talked it through. The SEC, Fulmer talked it through. They're not going to appeal it, and they agreed with that decision after the long discussion.
Let me down, Phil. So are you hearing the same thing? Probably Tax Layer Bowl, Gator Bowl?
I would think the Gator Bowl is probably the best choice. Wouldn't surprise me if for some reason they didn't end up in a January, they ended up in a December Bowl as well. Just because of the start of the season. Mm-hmm. Losing to Georgia State's going to have a little bit of a mark on them, and losing to BYU right afterwards.
It was a tough beginning of the season, but a good finish by the Vols, and something to build on. I think a lot of people will go into next season. We have a very favorable schedule, 2020. There's a lot of wins on there. I mean, we had 9 wins on it this year.
But then you also got Oklahoma next year.
You got to go to Oklahoma.
That's going to be a tough one.
You're playing Bama. You're playing Georgia.
You're playing Florida.
Which eventually you're going to beat Florida. Eventually, you would assume.
You would
it's
think.
going to happen eventually.
And George Quarles at
Furman's coming in.
up.
That same
Good for
day.
him.
That same day is also the Bristol NASCAR night race. So I don't know why NASCAR scheduled it that day. That's going to be a tough sell for that one to see how many people are going to be in attendance.
Yeah, Bristol's struggling as it is already.
Yeah, I go to I'm on the infield for almost every one of the races, and the spring race last year, they actually closed the turns.
Mm-hmm.
They would not let anyone sit on the turns. It was one of the smallest attended races.
I believe there'll be a lot of fans.
I'm not sure
what they're winning Tennessee. They're going to.
Well, we don't know. Also, don't know what time the Tennessee game is. It could be a night game. It could be like an early afternoon game, and it'd be at the same time roughly as the race. Then they would still be going on around the same time.
Another thing we saw kind of come full circle this week was Greg Schiano.
Yeah.
Hired. Our fans revolted because we didn't want him, and then Rutgers fans revolted because they wanted him. So we saw earlier about a week ago that deal we thought had fell through, and then I think it was 8 years, $32 million, $24 million a year.
You see the comment he made?
Yeah, he took a jab at Tennessee right afterwards.
He said they just get it.
He said they were a little bit. Said them Yankees are a little bit sharper than us rednecks down here in Tennessee.
That's why nobody wanted him.
Say he took Rutgers to 6 straight bowls when he was up there as well. So I mean, he turned him around once. He might be able to turn him around again.
We'll see. Big weekend for our basketballs. They had a good showing in their Emerald Coast Classic. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, it was the Emerald Coast Classic. They won 1-1 down there, and then they also had the 2 games up here that they won. I'm trying to look up the score because they're playing right now as well.
Texas, where they're playing?
Florida A&M.
Florida A&M.
Yeah, it was good to get a win over VCU. Lamonte Turner hit another clutch
game winner.
Another clutch game winner, and
I think that game ended up being who they thought would be in the winners, or maybe who they projected to play in the winners bracket. I think we both got beat. Wound up playing each other anyway, and like you said, I think he commented, said he knew he had to step up big after playing the way that he played the night before, and he stepped up in a big way.
right, we didn't play too well that Friday night. 21 turnovers, but they were still in the game against Florida State. I think Florida State's size bothered us. I think they said they were the biggest team in the country with their size, Florida State. So, but we had a chance. We were still in it despite playing a little sloppy basketball.
Hit a shot late in the game, that first game, to cut it to 2 or 3, but.
And right now, the Vols are up 44-22, a little bit less than 15 minutes to go in the game. The leading scorer for the Vols is Eve Pons, 14 points, 6 rebounds so far. Fulkerson has 9 points. Lamonte Turner has 10. I heard one thing they're trying to do is they're going to try to start limiting Lamonte and mainly his time because he's averaging around 35 minutes on the floor every single night. That's going to wear him out during SEC play and for the tournament if they can't get their bench to start stepping up.
Yeah, so we need a point guard, some depth. They got the kid from Uruguay coming in after January.
After Christmas, yeah.
He's 17 years old, though. They say he's really
real
really
deal.
good.
If we never get Euros eligible.
I don't know if that's. He can travel now, but I don't know if he can. I don't think they're going to let him play. Don't look like it.
And that's another thing that the NCAA's got to clear up is who's eligible, who's not, and how you can determine that. It's kind of a mess. How you can say he can play, but he can't play, and have no justification for it.
Right, I heard they had like over 400 players still out there in limbo they're having to go through. It's just crazy. You think they could go through that process a little bit quicker? It don't seem like it would take too long to make a decision.
Wouldn't think. Playoff, college football playoff.
Right.
Who's it going to be?
Well, right now your top three, is assuming they win, that's going to stay the same. It's going to be Ohio State 1, LSU 2, Clemson 3. Friday's game is actually going to be a big factor on whether the Big 12 can make it in, because Friday you've got Utah playing Oregon. Utah wins, they're the favorite to get in, assuming LSU can beat Georgia. If Utah loses, you've got the Big 12 championship, which will be Baylor and Oklahoma, and the winner of that game will more than likely be the 4 seed. So
Georgia doesn't win.
Assuming that. So right now my 4 pick will be Ohio State, LSU, Clemson, and I'm actually going to go with Oklahoma over Baylor.
Mm-hmm. Ohio State over LSU?
Ohio State 1, LSU 2, Clemson 3, and Oklahoma 4.
I think if LSU beats Georgia, they may jump Ohio State.
I don't see that with the way Ohio State's just been dominating everybody this year. They've had one close game, and it wasn't really that close either. It was a late score that kept it close, but LSU's had a couple tight games that may hurt them in the long run. Because if Ohio State can just dominate Wisconsin like they did earlier this year, it's going to show what happens.
That's the Big Ten, though. I mean, LSU's in the SEC.
Right. That doesn't say this year. The Big Ten's been playing lights out for the most part. With the way Ohio State is,
Come on now, Matt. Now SEC is.
You're always an SEC guy. I'm not going to say anything.
Well, it's tougher. You're in, you're out.
Except for the FCS schools that they play every year to try to bulk up their schedule.
Wisconsin, they lost to Illinois.
And Ohio State.
Penn State, who they lose to? Minnesota.
Minnesota, who was up there in the top 10 as well for a long time.
I like Minnesota. I think they're
rowing their boat.
I'd like to see Tennessee play Minnesota.
That'd be nice. Would you rather Tennessee play in a bowl game? We'll step back to that for a second. That they can win. I'm still on this from the radio. Would you rather see them in a bowl game that they can win, or against a team like Minnesota, where it might be a competitive game, but they come out with a loss in the end? Or does it matter?
To me, I'd rather see a competitive game than a blowout anytime. I don't care who the teams are. I just want to see a competitive game.
Tennessee and Michigan is a possibility.
That'd be something. I'd like to whoop up on Harbaugh and his khaki pants.
Yep, give him another whipping like we did back in 2001. Jason Witten.
And Big Dabo crying on TV.
Yeah.
Poor Dabo.
What's Dabo done?
What was he crying about? Not getting respect. Basically, they don't play anybody.
Yeah, the ACC's
it's garbage.
Yeah, that's why they are favored. I believe the line is right now 26 in the ACC championship game
against Virginia.
Well, let me make sure because I've got it up right here.
Yeah, that's they struggled over North Carolina early in the year, and that dropped them out of the top 4 for a little bit, and they worked their way up. Teams getting beat, but they're playing pretty good ball. Clemson,
T. Higgins last week, 3 catches, 104 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Pretty solid for thee.
Yeah, and I was wrong. They're 28.5-point favorites right now over Virginia.
It's a lot of points to give up.
Give me the points on that, Virginia.
That's a lot of points.
I don't think I would take the points on that one. I still think they can.
Virginia's not that bad. They're pretty decent.
Tennessee didn't cover last week.
No, Tennessee didn't cover last week.
No, Virginia's 9-3. Their 3 losses this year are to Notre Dame, 35-20.
Miami, 17-9. That's a bad loss for them.
That's a real bad loss.
And then they lost to
Louisville, 28-21. That's not a good loss either for them.
They haven't played Clemson yet this year, but And they're averaging
around 27 to 28 points a game. Virginia is. Clemson doesn't even keep their starters in after halftime half the time. They've got such a big lead at that point, they'll just put in all the second, third string in.
So that's a big, whoever gets number one, it's pretty big because if you're two, you're going to be probably playing Clemson. They're probably going to be three, so that's pretty key right there.
You'd rather want to play that 4 team. What's important, though, is that Alabama won't be in the playoff.
Not after last week against Auburn.
Poor Saban got hustled that last play of the game, and he pitched the awfulest looking fit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and then his kicker decides just to hit the goal post, and then the Auburn fans decide to jump in the hedges and get stuck.
Bama can't get a good kicker.
There's not many good kickers in the league this year outside Smaglia.
That's true. He had a great year.
But yeah, that's Malzahn pulled one over on Saban on that last play. That was pretty good, wasn't it?
He outsmarted him.
And one of the questions I got for you guys, which is going to be the group of 5 team that's going to make the New Year's Six Bowls? The highest ranked group of 5 team will make the New Year's Six.
Right now, let me see if I can get back to the top 25 rankings. You've got
Cincinnati, Cincinnati, Memphis, App State, and Boise State. Those are the 4 teams, and Navy's also up there with them, fighting for that final spot. Right now it's going to, I believe it's Memphis is the top one right now, and Memphis and Cincinnati play each other.
Interesting.
In the championship game for the American Athletic.
And Memphis done beat them once.
Last week, actually.
They just beat them last week.
It was last week. This is a rematch from last week.
Turn around and play again.
Yeah, and it's at Memphis again.
It was at Memphis last week?
It's at Memphis
really?
again. Yeah. Because Memphis is they're the conference champion, and I believe in that conference they don't go to a neutral site. It's played at the top-seeded site.
Top-seeded site.
Give me Cincinnati.
You're saying Cincinnati?
Yes, Browns Bearcats.
Yeah.
Right now,
beat a team 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, so your rankings
for those
group of 5, you've got Memphis at 17, Boise State 19, Cincinnati 20, App State
is 21, and Navy is 24. So the highest ranked team out of all those will play in the group of 5, or play in the New Year's Six.
I like Boise State, too.
Boise they're
14-point favorites over Hawaii. When's the last time Hawaii made their conference championship game?
Been a minute.
And they play 13 games a year before the conference championship game. Any team that goes to Hawaii for an away game gets an extra game because of the travel. Okay. So Hawaii gets 13 games every year, not including the conference championship, assuming they make it.
So that's a long season.
Is Gene Jones, is he still Hawaii?
No, he's
not Hawaii
anymore. Let me look up and see who Hawaii's coach actually is.
I don't know where he went.
I'll tell you what's a good deal in a bowl game is the Bahamas
That's
Bowl.
where I'm trying to go.
That's where
MTSU played there a few years ago, and they said it was such a hard sell for that ticket to get fans there. If you bought a ticket and went there, you got 3 free tickets to games in the next season. It's such a hard bowl to sell tickets to.
It's more expensive to get down there than the ticket cost. I know SEC championship tickets are going at a premium right now.
Does not surprise me a bit.
They're going high.
What about that game, LSU and Georgia?
The consensus is LSU will dog walk them, but who knows?
What's the line on that?
The line on the LSU.
What is it, a touchdown maybe? It can't be too much.
It is 7
points LSU. That one I may take the points on.
You said LSU earlier has struggled in some close wins. I thought they've been.
They haven't dominated in all of their games.
I thought they've been pretty impressive all year.
Auburn, they won by 3
earlier this year.
Just 3.
Alabama, they won by 5. Those were the 2 closest games, and then
Texas, they won by 7. So those are the 3 close games that they've had. While Ohio State, I don't think they've had a game.
Let me check this and make sure. I don't think they've had a game within
12 points.
But close games against Alabama and Auburn aren't.
But Texas is the one that's the one that's going to hurt them because that was the close one as well. It was 7 points to begin the season.
Ohio State's closest game let's see, 24.
Yeah, they've been scoring a lot of points on everybody.
Ohio State's closest game was against Penn State, and it was 11 points, 28-17. Their next closest were 2 games at 24 points.
Florida Atlantic and Michigan State.
It's just hard to say how good Ohio State is since they're in the Big Ten. Right?
I'm not going
right.
Yeah, I know we're in SEC country, but I see them being number one. I called them number one after last week. I'll call them number one after this week, assuming they win like they did.
Last time they played Wisconsin, the final score was 38-7.
38-7.
That's pretty impressive win. I think Wisconsin's a good team.
That was 38-7, and here's just some of the stat lines for Ohio State. Fields threw for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. It was Dobbins who ran it for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Wisconsin may beat them this time. They're saying Ohio State, if they lose, they're still in it. If LSU loses, they're still in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's mean you pull hard for the Badgers.
That's what I'm pulling for.
Big time.
Let's see, Wisconsin, they had a close game against Northwestern, 24-15. They lost by 1 to Illinois, 24-23. They won by 2 over Iowa. So, I mean, they're averaging around
30 points a game, while Ohio State's averaging in the 50s.
Well, Lovie Smith's got Illinois playing some good ball this year.
Yeah, Illinois this year finished, if my phone would actually keep going, I could tell you.
I haven't heard that matchup, Tennessee and Illinois.
You have or haven't?
I haven't.
I heard Indiana.
Yeah, I heard Indiana.
Let's see.
That would probably be in the Music City Bowl, but
Illinois finished 6-6 this year, so they would be getting.
Yeah, I'm in the right track.
They would be getting, along with Michigan State, those would be getting like the last choices for a bowl for the Big Ten. So you never know which way they'll go.
I'd like to see Tennessee and Texas and the Liberty. I'd like to see that.
Battle for the real UT.
It's been 50 years since we played. I remember watching that game. I was 8 years old, and my dad, we were getting beat really bad against that wishbone of Texas, and my dad wasn't happy. He told my brother to get out of the house.
Told him to get out. I tell you who struggled this year was Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And I think he's owed like $60 million. So he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah,
So
you
you-
heard much about Jimbo.
So you just wonder if he can write that and have the success that he had at Florida State at Texas A&M.
Unless you put it on them.
They put it on him. I didn't
Yeah.
expect them to do that.
No.
Flipped it over, and God, it was blowout in the first half.
Let's see. If you want to know who scored the most points, if you guys had to guess, who would you say, other than Alabama, scored the most points
Tennessee.
against LSU this year?
No clue.
Other than Alabama.
No clue. Auburn.
Let's see.
I thought you knew.
No, I'm looking at it right here.
No, it's not Auburn.
Who was it?
Vanderbilt. 38 points. It was a 66-38 final.
Interesting.
Most points Vanderbilt scored all season against a Division I opponent.
How did Derek Mason keep his job? By the way.
Well, there's still hirings and firings going on right now, so you never know how long it's going to last.
They beat Tennessee.
That's true.
3 of the last 4 years.
3 out of 4. And where does Lane Kiffin land? In Arkansas? I know they were tracking the planes.
The big rumors are Arkansas or even Mississippi may be looking at him as well.
Ole Miss,
Arkansas will be a good spot for him.
Which, if you follow Lane on Twitter, he seems pretty content down there. But he's probably, that's on Twitter.
But he also said he wanted to come back to Tennessee while he still seemed content to being down there when they were looking for a coach.
Are they bowl eligible?
Florida Atlantic?
I do not
I think they're
so.
playing in their. No, I think they're playing their conference championship game.
They would be playing App State.
I think they've got a pretty solid year.
Florida Atlantic is in the Sun. No, they're in the Conference USA. I'm looking at the wrong. I was looking in the Sun Belt. I'll look up and see.
Lane might be going to the Bahamas Bowl.
They are playing.
He getting some trouble down there.
They are playing. They're playing in their
Conference championship game against UAB. Both teams are 9-3 this year.
Come to the FAU. Well, let's take our second break of the night. Phone lines are open at 888-8112. Call us in with your questions or comments, and we'll return right after this.
Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood is the premier pharmacy service location. Let our professional staff help with all your pharmacy needs, answer your questions, or help with your medication management with our Medicine on Time packaging system. We also offer medication therapy management to ensure you're receiving maximum benefits from your medication. Diabetes care is available with one-on-one consultations, or you can attend one of our monthly diabetes information classes. Live and Let Live Drugstore in downtown Rockwood.
We treat you like family at RMG. Bring your junk, cars, aluminum cans. We'll buy it on the spot and we'll pay you a lot. We treat you like family at RMG. Yeah, we treat you like family at RMG. Rome Metals Group treat you like family.
Rome Metals is located just off of Highway 27 between Harriman and Rockwood.
I am a Simplicity dealer. This business is my life, my career. If you need a new mower, I'll help you choose the model that will make your property look its very best, and even let you take a test drive. When it does need service, you can rely on my factory service training and genuine parts. Because I don't just sell products, I build relationships. I am a Simplicity dealer.
S.L. Bowman & Sons, 524 North Front Street in Rockwood.
Reno Sporting Goods, your first choice for sports equipment. On the court, on the field, or in the stands, Reno's has the brand names you want. All the latest from Adidas, Under Armour, and more. From custom embroidery to screen printing, it's all about the game. For over 30 years, Reno Sporting Goods.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 110,000 participants here in Tennessee who take part in high school sports.
At Earl Duff Subaru, our reputation has been built on taking care of customers. We're Tennessee's only 8-time winner of the Subaru Love Promise Customer Commitment Award. This year, we also earned the Love Promise Community Commitment Award given for enhancing the areas we serve. This means you can be sure you'll have an excellent experience when you visit our store and be proud you're dealing with a company that gives back to local causes. Read our online reviews, then come to Earl Duff Subaru in Harriman.
Take I-40 to exit 347 in Harriman, or check all our specials at duffsubaru.com.
Welcome back to the Locker Room Chat. 865-483-8112. Before we move on, I want to get some house cleaning out of the way. Everyone is invited to Suplex for Santa, a fundraiser for the nonprofit Toys for Rocky Top, Tennessee Kids, a group that does what its name suggests and provides toys to needy kids in Rocky Top and the surrounding areas. The event will be held on Friday, December the 13th at 207 Jacksboro Avenue in Rocky Top, with the doors opening at 6 p.m. and live wrestling action starting at 7. Get fired up, Sleepy. Admission is free with an unwrapped $10 toy, or you can purchase tickets for $10 for adults and $5 for kids. Johnny Swinger, wrestling legend from WWE, WCW, and my favorite, TNA Impact Wrestling, and former WCW Tag Team Champion Chase Stevens will be in the house, along with several other top names. This promises to be the biggest wrestling event Anderson County has ever seen. Hagan's probably already got front row tickets to this. Finally, and also...
Where's it going to be at, the wrestling?
It is going to be at 207 Jacksboro Avenue in Rocky Top.
Oh. I might have to get Freddie here to go to that.
You may have to get him on there. And also, Ed Grief, president of Rockwood's Rotary Club, announced the Rockwood High School Football Awards Night will be held Thursday, January the 9th at 6 p.m. at the First Baptist Church Family Life Center in Rockwood. Pat Cooley, local attorney and former Rockwood High School athlete, will be the guest speaker for the event. Tickets will be $8 each in advance and $10 at the door, and they can be purchased from any Rotary member, RHS cheerleader, or at the Rockwood High School front office. For more information, call Ed Grief at 865-354-9857. So get your tickets to some good old razzling, and get your tickets to the Rockwood awards banquet. So, Sleepy, transition.
Sleepy? I didn't know my name was
Hagan.
Sleepy now. Thank you.
I'm getting sleepy.
Yeah, you're getting sleepy. You're the one who was out at midnight trying to get those tickets early.
That's true.
Any coaching news on the Dragon front?
Nothing yet. They're still in the searching mode for it. I haven't heard any kind of updates.
Come on now, Matt. I know
No, I haven't
He's
heard any
tracking the
updates.
You're holding back now. You know something.
I haven't even been at the high school in a couple weeks to go see them. I know they've been doing their off-season workouts under the 2 interim head coaches, but that's all that they've been doing so far.
Maybe Anthony will call in and
Anthony's too busy still
Anthony,
trying
call
to figure out
in
where the
and tell
basketball
us-
game is.
give us the scoop, Anthony, on the next Dragon football coach.
No, but speaking of football, recently the all region teams have been announced for 2 different local areas. One's Region 2 4A, which is Anderson
County's region. I want to say congratulations to Austin Elliott being named Most Valuable Player of the Year. Stone Cummins was named Defensive Player of the Year.
Stone Cold Cummins.
Daniel Bethel, a punter from Anderson County, was named the Specialist of the Year.
And all 5 Anderson County linemen were named
Co-Offensive Lineman of the Year, so that's Gage Terry, Russ Lindsay, Thomas Payne, Matt Murphy, and Matt Oglesby.
That's like the old Hogs and the Redskins.
And you also have Sean Jesse as Assistant Coach of the Year for the offense, and John Chadwell for Assistant Coach of the Year on the defense, and the all-region team.
Yeah, that's 2 fine coaches right there, though. Coach Jesse, I work with him, and Coach Chadwell as well. Those are really good coaches. You know, I think that's a big part of Anderson County's success, their coaching staff. Coach Gillum, really have a fine staff.
Then you also have their all-region team, which was Stone Hatmaker, Cam Thomas, TJ Holmes, Josh Miller, Tanner Goins, Brandon Snyder, Gavin No, Bryson Val, Anthony White, and Mason Field. And then for Region 3 5A, which is Clinton's region.
This doesn't include Clinton as well. It includes the Oak Ridge players.
I'm going to go just down the line right here. Sophomore of the Year was
Kendall Jackson out of Oak Ridge. Big congratulations to him for
being named that.
I don't think we had a Sophomore of the Year last year
named, so congratulations to him.
Yeah, he'll be one of the top running backs in the area next year.
Isaiah Johnson got Wide Receiver of the Year. Colton from Oak Ridge. Jacob Adams
from Oak Ridge
got Linebacker of the Year.
Bryce Collins, who we had on the show earlier this year, Clinton's punter, who's got named punter of the.
It was the punter of the year for the team, and then your all region for Region 3 5A for Clinton were Evan Winchester, Bryce Collins,
lineman
Trevor Linderman, who's a junior, Will Briggs, sophomore Connor Moody, and lineman Gavin Bollinger. Honorable mentions include Trace
Thackerson, who became starting quarterback
against Meigs County, senior Blake Cooper, and senior Edwin Resendez. And academic
were Will Briggs and Garrett Long, who suffered a season-ending broken collarbone against Meigs County.
For Oak Ridge, you have Jack Replogle, Isaiah Franquez, Tyrell Romano, Tyler Galloway, Nia Flack, Samuel Hensley, and Robert Hill as all-region. Honorable mention include Cole Adams, Jonathan Stewart, Jackson Adams, Mitchell Gibbons, and academic, it was
Matthew Calhoun. So congratulations to all the players and coaches.
Big congratulations. We salute them.
And you got some basketball news for us, some basketball scores and updates.
I have some basketball scores from last night. I know the district is just getting underway. A lot of teams starting their district last night. Locally, teams, starting with the girls, Central over Anderson County, 64-19. Lady Mavericks dropping to 0-7 to start the season.
Not a good start.
Not a good start for Coach Ellis.
A bounce back though.
They play Clinton Friday night at Clinton, so
they'll bounce back.
That'll be a packed house. I think they'll bounce back against the Lady Dragons.
You never know.
Lady Dragons put up 97. Lady Dragons put up 97 points last night.
I just try to get a rise out of y'all.
Well, that's the thing is I've not been to any of the basketball games yet. He's at all the basketball games.
You're the PA, right?
I'm the PA man. But
nice.
The Lady Dragons defeated Carnes last night, 97-51. They are now 2-2 on the season. Oak Ridge Lady Wildcats. Once again, off to a great start, 5-0. They defeated Hall's Lady Red Devils 77-35. Going down to Class A, it was Midway 45, Oakdale 31. Midway now 2-1. Oakdale is off to 0-5 start. Coach Snow at Oakdale, usually a better team than that. It was William Blunt 54, Oliver Springs 45. Lady Bobcats now 2-5. And Oneida over Sunbright 69-34. Sunbright now 3-3, and Coach Gambrell mentioned Oneida, usually one of the top teams in that district.
Good team.
Also, it was Cofield 74 over the Rockwood Lady Tigers 30. Cofield now 3-1 on the season. Wartburg over Harriman 55-42. Both teams 2-2. And Sweetwater over your Kingston Yellow Jackets 55-40. Kingston now 2-1. That was their first loss for the Lady Jackets. On the boys' side, it was Central winning by 2 points over Anderson County, 51-49. That game was played at Anderson County. The Mavericks are now 5-2, and Coach Wallace has got a young team. We lost a great group of seniors, but it looks like they're going to be pretty competitive. So Clinton and AC play Friday night at the Donnie Dome. The Dragons won last night 58-57 over Carnes in overtime. Clinton now 3-3 on the season. They've won their last 2. So it should be a really good game against the Mavericks Friday night.
Be there, Hagan.
Get there early, get a seat.
I'll probably end up shooting some Christmas lights on Friday night for the station instead. Because I know Friday night's also the tree lighting in Clinton, so they're probably all going to go from that tree lighting to the game.
It is beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Evan Winchester, mentioned him all region in football. He had a shot with about 6 seconds to go, a layup to tie the game. Carnes had a chance in regulation. They missed. And then in overtime, Carnes took the lead. Clinton battled back. Lane Harrison, sophomore, he's about 6'7". He hit a 1-and-1, put the Dragons up by 1 point, and Carnes had 2 shots there at the end. The ball was all over the rim. It did everything but go in, and the Dragons survived to get that win, so that was good for Clinton.
Out of 5 free throws, how many could you hit?
5.
I might could hit 1.
I could probably hit 1 or 2 right now.
I need to practice a little bit.
No, right now we go to the courts.
He's going to use the Optimus Lee line instead.
I'd say I could hit at least 3.
3? That's pretty solid.
Well, we ought to put him to the test. Go out there with the camera and just see if he can do it.
Remote next Wednesday.
Get one of those Papa shots in here and set it up.
I like it.
It is Oak Ridge Wildcats 78, Halls 42. Coach Aaron Green off to a 4-0 start. So the Wildcats look to be back in contention for the district again. Getting back down Midway and Oakdale. I don't have a score on that. It was William Blunt over Oliver Springs 81-28. The Bobcats now 0-7. It was Oneida 71 over the Sunbright Tigers 54. Sunbright now 2-2. Rockwood 50, Cofield 44. Rockwood gets the first win.
Big win for the Tigers last night.
Cofield drops to 0-3. So Coach Brad Jones will get happy with those Yellow Jackets. You have to stir that nest up. And it was Harriman winning over Wartburg 82-72. Harriman now 2-4. Wartburg 0-4. And I heard Harriman Middle School's got a 6'8" point guard.
They've got a real tall point guard that can throw it down.
I heard he is the real deal.
So hopefully he'll stay at Harriman.
They ought to.
Hopefully don't nobody come swoop him up, take him off to a private school or something. But no, I think he's a Harriman boy, and I think he'll be real successful for the Blue Devils. The older that he gets, and the more developed he gets as a player.
Have you seen him play before?
No, have not. But I only heard good things about him.
Yeah, Harriman's got a real good program. Won the state there a few years ago, and got a lot of tradition there. And the final score of Kingston, they improved to 3-1. They defeated Sweetwater last night, 68-57.
Big win for Colton Airborne and the Yellow Jackets.
So that's some of the scores from the district. So get out and support your local schools with the games coming up Friday night.
That's true. And guys, we got the state finals starting tomorrow. Do we have 9 state championships that we're going to give out?
You have 9 state championships, 3 in Division II, because this is I believe this is the first year they've done Division II-A, AA, and AAA, depending on the private school size. That's why Catholic dropped from 5A last year to Division II AAA, because they just didn't want to play in the 5A. They were winning too much until they got to the semifinals.
Yeah.
But
That's where they need to be.
Does Texas have 9 state championships?
I will.
That's
Actually,
an
no.
awful lot.
I think they only have about 6. A sports director, a good close friend of mine, is actually from Texas. He played football out there, and then he went to Harding University and played Division II football
for a little bit. And then starting tomorrow,
and we can all pick all of these games. Let's just see.
Matt's wanting to pick 10 games. He's trying to catch me.
He's trying.
Yeah.
We can do
Well,
that.
Let's just do it. Let's just see if you can. So starting tomorrow, we're going to go. The Division II AAA state championship game is Montgomery Bell Academy versus McCallie. We saw McCallie play Catholic earlier this year, and that was a close game. Let John.
Give me Macaulay.
Give me NBA.
I'll stick with McCallie on this one, just after seeing him play on ESPN.
I know my private schools.
Game 2 is Division II, Evangelical Christian versus Christ Presbyterian.
Oh man.
Christ Presbyterian out of Middle Tennessee. I know their basketball program is dominant. I covered a couple of their state championship games when I was in college.
What's their records?
So, Evangelical Christian is 12-1. CPA is 7-6.
Wow. Give me the first one.
Evangelical Christian out of Memphis.
I don't think
I wouldn't pick CPA if they were 100-0. They beat Rockwood in a sub-state game a long time ago, back when I was younger and slimmer. So give me Evangelical Christian.
I'm going to go opposite this one. I'm going to go with CPA and just see if they can pull off this upset. We'll beat a 7-6.
Third game on Thursday is University School of Jackson 10-3.
7-6 shouldn't be in the state championship game, but go ahead.
They used to have.
How'd they do that? They must be hot.
In 6A, you used to have it. Well, there only had 32 teams in 6A. Every one of them made the state playoffs, even if you didn't have a win.
We're going to run out of time.
But the third game is University School of Jackson 10-3 versus Davidson Academy 10-2. I'm going to go with Davidson Academy on this one.
I'm going with Davidson too.
What was the first one?
The first one was University School of Jackson. They were the team that
knocked out a local team from the playoffs. They knocked out. I believe it was
USJ.
Yeah. USJ. They believe. I think it was.
I'm forgetting. It was CAK.
They put Rockwood out of sub-state. I'm tying everything back to Rockwood on these picks.
And on Friday, you have the Class 1, 3, and 5A state championships. This is where we actually have a chance to win all 3 of these. You've got 1A first, 14-0 Pearl Cone versus 13-1 Alcoa.
Alcoa,
Alcoa.
No doubt.
I'll stick with Alcoa on that one as well.
Stats by Will. He put out on Twitter. He's got that like 24-20 Alcoa. So Pearl Cone.
They're 14-0.
Big John Henderson. He might be suiting up down there.
And then I'll stick with Alcoa on this one. That game is played at 3
o'clock, local time.
And in Cookeville, next one's Class 1A. It's going to be played at 11 a.m. It's Lake County undefeated 14-0 versus Greenback 12-2.
The Cherokees.
I'm gonna go with Lake County on this one.
I'm gonna go with the Greenback.
And then
I think stats by Will. He's got Lake County winning that.
Stats by Will's wrong.
Hey guys, the 7 p.m. kickoff is the 5A state championship game.
Both teams are 12-2. Summit versus Central. Summit knocked out Henry County, who Central played last year in the state title game.
Give me Coach Rosser.
Even though you've picked against him, the last 2 weeks?
All right. I'm going to pick him now.
he's jinxing them. Central. Give me Central.
I'm going to go with Summit because the last 2 weeks he's picked against Central and they've won both times. This week he's picking
Put the jinx on him, Sleepy.
Then on Saturday you're going to have the Class 2, 4, and 6A state championship games. start off with if my phone would actually go to the right date, it would help.
That would.
Yeah, I want to see that Greenback Lake County game.
All games are actually broadcast online as well.
I think Greenback starts at 12 on Friday.
It's at 11
Well, you're getting into that cookful. You're getting
Yeah,
into
I mean, well, it's 12 local, but
yeah, but here's the 2A state championship game.
14-0 Peabody versus 13-1 Meigs County. Game's at 11 a.m.
Give me Peabody.
Party in Decatur. Meigs County Tigers.
I'll go Meigs County after watching them in person.
Peabody's got the Mr. Football.
You've also got 4A, 11-3 Springfield, 14-0 Elizabethton.
Cyclones.
I'll stick with Elizabethton
on this one, and then the final game is 7 o'clock. Maryville.
First time Elizabethton's made it to the state.
Yeah.
They've been to the semifinals 6 different times and lost, but first time since the TSSAA, began in 1969 that they've made it.
And your final game, 7 o'clock, is
Maryville Ravenwood. Ravenwood 13-1, Maryville 14-0.
Maryville, even though Ravenwood's got a player just committed to Oklahoma, big defensive end.
Ravenwood's only loss this year was to Brentwood, 25-14. I'm actually going to go with Ravenwood on this one.
And they met in 2014 and 15 when they split during the Maryville dominance.
Yeah, exactly. The game I was at was the 2013 Maryville State Championship game, and that wasn't even a championship game. Maryville put in their second string in the second quarter, and they had their fourth string in the third quarter.
It's been nice to have a fourth string. It's a lot of kids.
I was at a couple of their games where we had to ask the offensive coaches that were in the box right beside us to get us a new roster because they had players in there that were not on our varsity roster because they put their JV team in.
They just them out of the state.
Quarles wanted to get up by 35, and then he would put backup things. He did not want to increase the score. He wanted to try to at least keep it respectable for the other team.
What a man!
This is Alcoa's 7th straight trip.
Alcoa's 7th straight trip. And
going for their 5th in a row, I believe.
I believe so. I think this is 13 out of 14 years for Maryville, or something. It's very similar to 13 out of 14 years now for Maryville going to this championship game. Maryville won. I couldn't tell you how many championships they've won. Alcoa's going to have they're not even on pace to get record points this year with how much they've scored.
Alcoa's won the most.
Alcoa's won the most?
I think they've won 17.
It's between Alcoa.
It's an awful good ranking.
Let's just say it's Blount County that's won the most. Between Alcoa and Maryville. We'll put that blanket on it.
All right, and that wraps it up for tonight's edition of the Locker Room Chat. Join us next week. Good luck to all the teams in the state finals, especially those near us in East Tennessee. I'm Chase Clem. John Williams, Matt Hagan. Good night, and see you next Wednesday. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.